how a single sentence in a neighboring classroom can change what the world believes about Angkor and why that quietly matters for Cambodia.
Right. And today we'll look at real textbook lines, maps, and simple checks anyone can run to spot missing context and ask for fixes.
Welcome to NSP Plus TV, Cambodia's voice to the world. I'm Port Norn, and
Nisa here. Let me add, we'll walk through evidence you can check, show wording changes that work in classrooms, and share templates teachers can use to request corrections.
we looked at publicly available excerpts, short descriptions of the Khmer Empire, cropped maps, and compressed timelines. The common pattern isn't dramatic fabrication, it's omission and simplification that shift perception over years.
Exactly. For instance, a two-line note that calls Angkor simply a local kingdom strips away its irrigation engineering, urban scale, and regional influence, details students need to understand significance.
Maps do the same work. We found captions or cropped maps that push important temple sites off-page or place borders without noting how boundaries shifted over centuries.
Are these problems usually deliberate or more the result of deadlines and weak sourcing?
Mostly editorial shortcuts and out-of-date materials, but the effect, whether accidental or not, can be lasting. That's why textbook review should be treated as public interest work.
Right, and access matters. Adoption often goes through ministry committees, independent reviewers, and sometimes external donors. When draft versions aren't shared, errors can persist for a decade.
That's an access problem we can fix. But aren't some of these edits inevitably political?
They can be when wording is loaded. For example, switching a caption from claimed to controlled turns a neutral note into an accusation. So our approach is suggest neutral, evidence-based phrasing, like historic control of this area varied over centuries. See sources. That keeps it academic, not combative.
Okay, keeping it clearly evidence-based and pedagogical, not accusatory. Good guardrails.
So technology helps here. Researchers compare digitized textbook corpora, run optical character recognition on scans, and align passages across editions to spot where wording drifts.
We walked through 3 anonymized excerpts. First, a 2-sentence description that calls Angkor a regional monument, but leaves out irrigation systems and urban density. Those missing lines matter. Angkor's core development stretches roughly from the 9th to the 15th centuries. UNESCO inscribed Angkor in 1992. Quick anchors you can check.
Exactly. Line by line, we added context, epigraphic dates, a note on hydraulic works, and a citation to UNESCO.org or peer-reviewed journals like the Journal of Southeast Asian Studies. That one sentence of context changes what a student will remember.
Second example, a map caption that centers a contested border area while implying fixed control. We suggested a short parenthetical, boundaries have shifted over centuries, and a pointer to primary sources. A small editorial note reduces misunderstanding.
The third excerpt was tougher. A timeline that compresses the Khmer Empire into a single bullet and then jumps to modern states, erasing continuity. We proposed adding 2 quick lines on cultural achievements and living traditions, pottery styles, dance forms, temple restoration, so students see links between past and present.
Important note, this is not about blaming teachers. Many work with limited resources and ready-made texts. Our goal is constructive, better sourcing, clearer timelines, and respectful language that restores Khmer contributions.
So, what can a teacher or citizen do right now? A simple 3-step approach. Verify the claim, gather 1 or 2 reliable sources, and submit a short, polite correction request to the publisher or review committee.
When we spoke with specialists, one historian emphasized evidence standards, inscriptions, archaeological reports, and contemporary accounts are the strongest anchors. When textbooks cite those primary sources, claims become harder to twist through omission.
I want to read a short line from an educator we interviewed. Students deserve context, not slogans. A classroom that explains complexity builds citizens who can question media and institutions. That stuck with me.
There's a practical set of checks anyone can run. 1. Check dates against UNESCO.org or peer-reviewed archaeology reports. Remember, Angkor, 9th to 15th centuries, UNESCO listing, 1992. 2. Compare map scales. A cropped map can hide proximity. 3. Ask for citations. If none are listed, treat the claim as provisional and request named sources.
Right. And when you submit a correction, frame it professionally. On page X, the date appears inconsistent with inscriptional evidence. See why. May we suggest this phrasing and citation? That kind of wording is practical and non-confrontational.
We also asked listeners for questions. One teacher in Phnom Penh asked, "How do I introduce contested topics without angering parents or administrators?" My short answer, teach critical thinking. Start with facts, then explore perspectives. Use primary sources and let students compare.
Add a classroom exercise. Give students 2 short passages and ask them to list what's missing from each. That builds media literacy and keeps the conversation evidence-centered, not emotional.
Now a brief cultural spotlight to restore immediate context. Picture Bante Sray, known for delicate stone carving. Some curricula call it minor, but its inscriptions and artistry influenced regional sculpture and illuminate women's roles in patronage. A single sentence referencing inscriptions changes how students see its importance.
One friction we didn't avoid. Some listeners argue corrections are a form of cultural advocacy that can inflame diplomacy. I think the line is in how you ask. If corrections are evidence-based and pedagogical, they usually diffuse tension, but if they're framed as grievances, they can escalate.
Agreed. So the rule of thumb, always center primary evidence and classroom benefit, not national scorekeeping.
Before we finish, quick misinformation watch with concrete steps you can follow now. 1. Check UNESCO.org or the Journal of Southeast Asian Studies for dates and significance. Angkor, approximately 9th to 15th century. UNESCO listing, 1992. 2. Compare the full map, not just a cropped image. 3. Request citations by name. If a line has none, treat it as provisional and ask the publisher for sources.
We've posted sample correction templates and source links on the episode page to make it easier. Use them to keep feedback professional and evidence-backed.
One more listener question. How do we involve students in corrections without making them feel like activists? My answer, teach source comparison as a skills lesson. Let students practice verifying dates and maps, skills they'll use across subjects.
Quick recap, small omissions add up. Context matters. Use primary sources and reputable institutions to verify claims. Offer corrections as professional, evidence-based suggestions. And celebrate Khmer heritage in classrooms by including architecture, inscriptions, and living traditions.
Practical next steps. Teachers, request source lists. Citizens, ask for draft access or public review. Students, compare timelines and maps. Visit our episode page for templates and links to UNESCO.org and recommended journals.
Thank you for spending this time with us and for taking care with the stories that shape our future.
We're here every day to bring clear, simple news and to share tools you can use. Please subscribe, share this episode with a teacher or friend, and send us your questions.
The facts are clear. The evidence is undeniable. Stand with Cambodia. Stay safe, stay informed, and stay connected.
We'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to NSP Plus TV.